we live with another one, man. We're gonna jump back into that playoff talk. Um, I'm gonna just float around the playoffs, man. Talk about a couple series, what's been going on. Um, man, fucking Dame time, man. Looked like he hurt his Achilles last night. And this is a big blow for Milwaukee, man. Big blow for Dame time, man. Damian Lillard, bro. Coming back from that blood clot, man, and, putting it out on the line for his team. Just being cleared to do a lot of activities 5-6 days ago, man, and, still trying to find his rhythm, and then for it to be a non-contact injury, man, it's just a big blow, bro. Prayers up to Dame, man. Hope the best for that, bro. And if you Milwaukee, let's just say you do lose this series, bro, what's next, right? Everybody likes to, they don't win, they like to blow it up nowadays, not just in basketball. You see it in, a lot of sports, bro, but I would hope Milwaukee doesn't blow it up, but I wouldn't be surprised either. You know what I mean? Like, do you trade Greek? Hell no. But, you never know in the business now. I think, me personally, Dame obviously is probably going to be, if it is what we think it is, bro, if it's Achilles, bro, he's going to be out next season most likely. So, you got pieces that you can, work with as far as trade pieces, man. Kuzma obviously isn't a good fit with this Milwaukee team. Brook Lopez, I think he still has about $20+ million on his contract. So him and Kuz alone is, pieces. Bobby Portis, but I think you keep Bobby Portis. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Dame is hurt, so, pretty sure nobody's going to trade for that or take that contract, especially coming off of Achilles, bro. I only seen one person for real come back off of Achilles and still look how they was or elevate how they was, and that's Kevin Durant. I don't see Kobe, DeMarcus Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, he had an okay year, this last year with the Jets. It wasn't, it was all right, you know what I mean? But I only seen one person for real, just like come back and elevate, from where they was. So, I think you keep Greek, bro. Y'all did win a championship a couple years ago with Greek, so Greek is the ticket holder, man. He box office, especially for a small market like Milwaukee. And I know it's gonna be tough, but you see what you can get in that trade deadline, bro. I mean, not trade deadline, but you see what you can get in that offseason. This offseason, dealing with trades to build around Giannis. Don't trade your fucking gold, man. Indiana, just keeping on topic with that series. Indiana's looking good, bro. As far as, like, just moving the ball, making the right reads. Like, Milwaukee, honestly, hasn't had an answer for them, defensively, bro. Like, I'm going to be honest. Indiana, like, they playing regular season ball still, you know what I mean? Still putting up, like, I can't tell you the exact number because I'm not looking at stats right now, but Game 4, Indiana put up a lot of points, bro. I think they was in the 130s, high 120s. That's regular season hoops for them, you know what I mean? Because they're a team that like to play up and down. So, they looking good, man. They looking good. It's a team effort for them, you know what I mean? I think they played 10+ guys Game 4, you know what I mean? So this is a team effort. Everybody making the right read. Tyrese, you got a real point guard running the show, so everybody eating. They got a Siakam, championship pedigree. He won a championship with the Raptors, so he got that experience. He's playing his role greatly. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, I said greatly, by the way. You know what I mean? So, Boston versus Orlando. You know what I mean? Boston probably gonna get them out of that 4-1. Orlando they stole one, game 3. But I think Boston will get them out of that 4-1. Like I said in a couple episodes ago, like Orlando, they're hurt, but they're also a piece or two away. You know what I mean? So they'll get there eventually. I know Boston is battling some injuries too. Um, but they'll be fine. Cleveland versus Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami get one still. It's 3-0 right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami get one. Shout out Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? But Cleveland, they playing how they was playing in the regular season, keeping that rhythm intact, man. But second round for them going forward to be their toughest challenges going forward, so we'll see what they really own, in my opinion. That Knicks Detroit series, bro. Great series, bro. But this series is just showing you that you can tell Detroit hasn't been there in a minute. You can tell Detroit hasn't been to the playoffs. You can tell that young team, even though they got some vets, this series could easily be 3-1 Detroit. You know what I mean? But it's 3-1 New York. Shout out Big Cat, man, in game 4, had some clutch buckets in that clutch. I don't have the clip, but Tim Hardaway did get fouled by Josh Hart in the corner. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? I haven't. Soon, bro, I'm gonna be fouled with this shit, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be able to show you the clip, slow that bitch down while still being able to talk. You know what I mean? But right now, we just on some. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? That clip out there, game 4, Pistons versus Knicks. Josh Hart contested Tim Hardaway Jr. in the corner. Tim Hardaway Jr. I think it was like a long offensive rebound, if I'm not mistaken. They rolled to him in the corner. I think he kind of pump fake, got him in the air, but it was a no call. So and I think after the game, the refs did say they messed up on that call. So they stuff like that in the playoff series, it matters. That can change the series of a series, but that can change the playoffs. You know what I mean? Depending on matchups going into the second round. You know what I mean? And for this series, now it's 3-1, where it could have been 2-2. You never know. So you know what I mean? Shit like that. Playoff basketball, all that shit matter. Referees got to be able to. Sometimes I feel like a coach shouldn't have to challenge for the ref to just say, you know what, I messed up on that. You know what I mean? Just being able to look up ahead on the big screen as the replay quickly shows, you know what I mean? And huddling up real fast and, correcting the call, you know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. A lot of politics with that shit. Switching to that West, man. SGA them got, Memphis out of there in 4. Unfortunately, Ja. I feel like they figured out something game 3 before Ja got hurt. Game 4 was still a good game. Shout out Scottie Pippen Jr. But they still, Ja obviously didn't play. But OKC challenges will be next round going forward as well. Excuse me, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've been down to 24, man. Just trying to, put it in, put that work in, grind and all that good stuff, bro. House of Underdog talk. You see what I'm saying? But, stand on Memphis, man. Like, what do you do if you're Memphis, bro? I think, they, like I said a couple of episodes ago, you need a Dylan Brooks. You need a Tyus Jones, man. I think for them, you look to see, I'm going to be honest, I think you explore something for with D-Bane and JJJ. You know what I mean? Just see what you can get, right? Can you get a Kevin Durant? You know what I'm saying? Just to see what you can get, though. You know what I'm saying? I think you definitely, hell yeah, you keep Ja. That's your box office. That's your tickets, for sure. That's the swag of the culture. That's the culture. You know what I mean? But Memphis they are going to have to, they just gonna have to build a new culture, but still, rock out with Josh, your head honcho. You know what I mean? They need a good coach that has the experience, man. That's gonna be able to, earn these young guys respect. You know what I'm saying? I think you build out Ja. You know what I mean? Obviously, the ball should be in his hands. I think you explore something, right? You explore something. I fuck with Bane and I fuck with JJJ, but I feel like that West is hard, bro. You know what I mean? Wembanyama's coming back next year. I don't know what Phoenix is gonna do. So like the West is down there 1 through 12, 1 through 13. So Memphis, if they don't, upgrade their roster, it's gonna be a play-in spot for them. Fighting for that play-in for sure. Dallas coming back healthy, so it's like a lot of this West getting tough. SGA, I think the first 2-3 games was kind of iffy for him. Like I said a couple episodes ago, same type of shots he was getting, just wasn't falling. Playoff basketball, you know what I mean? So it's more physical. But I think he'll be fine going forward, you know what I mean? Where they see their real challenges and stuff second round, for sure. Houston, Golden State, Jimmy is out. He missed game 3. But Golden State was able to still win, man. I'm not going to lie. Still in game 3 at the crib, no Jimmy. That's very beneficial. Very beneficial. Shout out Chef Curry, man. Shout out Gary Payton, man, that man is an elite finisher around the rim. I'm going to be honest. He's like a small ball 4, small ball 5, like being able to guard your best 1 through 3. You know what I mean? You can put him on, some force. You know what I'm saying? Being able to play on your offensive system as a screener, being able to play off ball, being able to make the right read. You know what I mean? Being able to shoot the ball. Like he's an elite role player. You know what I mean? At his role. So I think that was a good win for Golden State. Game 4 coming in. You see the status of Jimmy. If Jimmy plays, that's a plus. If he doesn't, if you can get another one, because at this point each team knows what each team is gonna do. I think with Houston, I think I said in the X Factor video, Jalen Green was the X Factor, and you got to see how consistent can he be in this first playoff series. First game off, second game, I think 38. I could be wrong, but I think it was 38. I don't think I'm wrong. And I think third game, a low game. So it's like that consistency. Can Houston find that consistency? You know what I mean? Sengun's been their most, consistent by far. So who's going to be that second, right? Because Houston still has the roster. They still have the talent to tie this up 2-2 and make this a series. But we just got to see who's going to be the consistent, player for Houston. For Golden State, Kuminga's finally playing, but that's only because Jimmy is out. But I think you just, keep, focusing on a defensive first type of getting these stops. That offense gonna come because, that offense gonna come. You know what I mean? You don't want championships with this same core as far as Steve Kerr, Curry, Draymond. So, it works. But if you can lean your head in your hat on defense, the rhythm will come with y'all offense. You see what I'm saying? Keep making that shit tough for Jalen Green. Make it a little tougher for Sengun. you know. So, make Freddie V be a scorer consistently. So, he's a good two-way playmaker, but make him be that, first guy. So I think Golden State is playing a heck of a job on defense. Well, it was a heck of a job game 3 for sure. This Minnesota Lakers series, man, elite, bro. Game 4 was an elite game. Needed more out of Bron in that fourth quarter, but overall, great game for Bron. Great game for Luka. Great game for the Stars. I think, like I said, I don't got a clip, but if you know what I mean? It was a late foul called on Bron. I thought A slipped, man. I think that was a good, steal by Bron, but they called it a foul. Things like that matter in that playoffs. I think Lakers played, 5 players the whole second half. So, I think Lakers don't have enough depth, and I don't think they believe in their depth either. They look kind of chunky in that clutch, but I'm not gonna lie. Brown was generating great reads, great looks for the Lakers, him and Luka. And I think Lakers, missed some good shots. I think they'll be fine. I think it goes 7. You know what I mean? If they keep showing bodies at Ant when he has the ball, live with him being the passer instead of, getting to that 3. Because once he gets to the 3, he's groovy. When he's attacking, showing bodies. You know what I mean? So just continue to show bodies and have that extra effort. They'll be fine. Minnesota just have to continue to play their game. Ant has to continue to be a good playmaker and be willing and ready to make that pass, and make the right play. So it'll be a good game. It'll go 7. It'll be a great series, like a great series. One for the books for sure. Then you got Denver Clippers. I just watched the fourth quarter of that Denver Clippers game 4. And Clippers could have won game 1, or they won game 2. They won game 3. Could have won, Nuggets blew a big lead game 4. They were still able to hold the league off, Jokic had some elite footwork. I think the title game, spin, man, elite. You know what I mean? Then that putback from, Aaron Gordon to win the game at the buzzer, that's a bucket. Ball was in the bucket, man. That's a bucket. That's a great call by the referee. That's a bucket. You know what I mean? They going back to Denver 2-2. My thing is, Clippers have to stop playing and get out of the way because you can't just necessarily play with your food with Denver. You know what I mean? I thought my choice is still the Clippers, right? But you can't give the best player in the NBA a chance to just steal 2 games. You know what I mean? Especially going back to the crib. Like, you don't want them to steal one. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think that's going to be a great series, man. Again, all these are great series, for real. Unfortunately, Dame Time got hurt. Boston a little banged up. You know what I mean? But great series. You know what I mean? We're gonna continue to stay at it, man. Another one, man. Another one from House of Underdog Talk. Just vibing with it too, man. Stay tuned, though, because we got a whole lot of shit, man. We just heating up, man. We just heating up. We in the kitchen. We in the kitchen right now. You know what I mean? But we cooking up. Stay tuned.